All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Beyond ERP. Today, we're privileged to welcome Jeremy Kearns, a seasoned sales executive with over a decade of experience. Jeremy currently serves in a pivotal role at Avalara, specializing in driving revenue growth through strategic sales initiatives. In his current role, Jeremy is key to driving Avalara's client retention, as well as identifying new business opportunities, successful implementations, all within the Avalara tax compliance umbrella. As a senior account executive at Indeed, Jeremy significantly contributed to expanding the client base, fostering strategic partnerships, and achieving sales targets in the competitive online job marketplace. I'm Louis Balla, partner at Nuage. When I'm not stuttering or fumbling over my words, I'm working alongside my co-host Gina Ostrowsky. So let's go ahead and delve deeper into Jeremy's enriching journey. Jeremy, thank you for joining us today.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm excited.
Great. Thanks for joining, as Louis said, and let's get into the conversation here for our audience. So tell us a little bit maybe about your journey and what led you to a position at Avalara, and maybe some aspects of your experience that contributed to the success in the realm of tax compliance solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my background, so I've always been in sales, but never on the tax side. So I started off in new home sales, and then went over to Indeed, the job site, so Indeed.com. And then, funny enough, my dad actually is who kind of got me aware of Avalara and had me kind of come on board over here. He's been here for 8 years now. Is still here, and definitely him and I have a close relationship. Respect his opinion, and he's said everything as far as the culture with Avalara, but also really the product. And in sales, you want something that almost kind of sells itself, right, a little bit. And just seeing the success that him and the team had, and the problem that it was solving, made me kind of eager to look at the opportunity here, and definitely consider myself lucky to be aboard here. But I guess new home sales and jobs don't have anything to do with sales tax, but one thing I guess is problem solving. I think that's really the case, in my opinion, just across for sales. And sales tax is no different. It's probably even more extreme. There's so many complexities, and there's a wide variety of what compliance, I guess, means. So my background, I think, is really to help me just talk with the customers, see what's going on, really understand like where they're at and what they're looking for as far as from a partner, and just finding the best fit for them. And I think as far as for my background, just really that's kind of been the main takeaway, I think, for what's helped me here at Avalara.
It's neat to see how career paths happen and
Right.
trajectories that change things along the way. It's quite interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think 5 years plus, maybe closer to 8, was the first time I was exposed to Avalara, and those were the days when Vertex was still kind of the big dog in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, Avalara has continued to be on the bleeding edge. I mean, exceptional support, doing anything and everything. Really, I mean, growing and effectively being the top dog these days. Can you tell us and maybe highlight some of the initiatives that have set Avalara apart, within the tax technology landscape? Maybe even compare general solutions available in the market?
Yeah, most definitely. So I think one thing is, so Avalara, we were born in the cloud, as they say. It's kind of a cheesy term, but we were born in the cloud, and most of our competitors, started on-prem and then are transitioning over to a cloud-based system. And with that, obviously, comes some challenges. It's not a perfect science, right? But with that, I think Avalara over time has been really able to adapt and grow with customers. So whether that be if they have, if they're just growing and they have more locations, more sales, more states, if they're changing systems from one system to NetSuite, or if they're launching a e-com site or maybe a second one, we're able to really, I think, kind of adapt and grow with them on the fly, maybe a little bit better than others. But I think something that really separates Avalara from others is the ability to offer a like one-stop shop or one source of truth. There's so many, as I alluded to earlier, there's so many areas of compliance, and Avalara really can handle every aspect. Some of our competitors, or most, I guess, they all calculations and returns. Those are the two, main points, I guess. But beyond that, if a company has business licenses and multiple locations and permitting requirements or property tax, Avalara is able to handle all aspects of that along with the main components as well. So I think it's a really big benefit, and from conversations, it has been a big benefit to be able to have, hey, we're working with Avalara. If we have any questions, concerns, whatever the case is, or changes, we go to Avalara. We're not having to go to Avalara for this portion, Vertex for this portion. So I think being able to offer that is a major bonus, for us, but also not just offering it in the terms of a middle tier kind of solution. I mean, really, the solutions that we have are second to none, in especially when you look at kind of those different aspects where I'm talking about business licensing, or if it's exempt certificates. I mean, there's companies out there that are solely just there for exempt certificate management,
Right.
and still Avalara, in my opinion, is head over heels above even those companies in the way that we validate certificates, the way that we're actually putting eyes on those, or collecting those on the customer's behalf. It's a very hands-on approach, and that's been really, at least the feedback that I've got from customers, has been really beneficial for them. So
that's great. And, I think for the general audience, most of our listeners are already on an ERP solution like a NetSuite or a QuickBooks. So some may be exposed to more complexity. Hopefully they're forward thinking and not doing it retroactively. But I think it's probably the case, the latter, where you realize, hey, I should be paying a little bit more attention to the tax side. Can you walk us through maybe some distinctive features, functionalities? At what point do you usually say, hey, business of $10 million, maybe running on QuickBooks, you're going to outgrow what you're doing today with your bookkeeper, your outside tax advisor. You need to look at a solution like Avalara. Where is that breaking point?
Yeah, that's a good question. And to be honest, I don't have a perfect answer for that. I think as far as, anytime that there's change, I think is a good time to for them to look at a solution like Avalara. With change, as you had mentioned, Louis, like if you're switching ERPs or if you're just growing, I mean, there's so much more complexity to that, right? So either if that's more products, more locations, employees, I mean, as you grow, your liability grows, and it becomes harder and harder to manually monitor that and stay compliant. I would almost say impossible, just from the conversations that we've had. But as far as for the breaking point, there's as I said, really any time that there's change is a great time to bring in Avalara, and we can just offer assistance. It's not like bringing Avalara and do our full product suite. Let's go. It can be something, as I've had conversations with customers for 2 years before they even purchase Avalara. So definitely anytime, like I said, anytime that there's change or uncertainty, definitely, as you mentioned, Louis, better to get ahead of that than push it off and let that liability and complexity grow. So
and then for businesses that are considering Avalara's tax compliance solutions, when's like the optimal time to leverage our partnership? I know we've worked together in the past, and it's been really seamless, actually, when I worked with you, Jeremy. But maybe you can give some insight there.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, so anytime that if they're already implementing NetSuite, that's the perfect time, I guess, because they're going to have to install a tax solution one way or the other. So whether that's within native NetSuite or if they want to bring on Avalara, but at least that's a time to where we can have those conversations. If they want to move forward with Avalara, then they can do that then, and they're not having to double up their work. Then is really, kind of an ideal time as far as for framing, and they're already doing the work. They already have the resources. This is the project they're doing. So to me, that's the time frame that makes most sense.
Okay, during implementation,
In
yeah.
a perfect
And then, pardon me?
In a perfect world.
Of course. And then are there any specific challenges or maybe scenarios where Avalara's experience becomes indispensable for NetSuite customers or prospects?
Yeah. I guess it becomes that whenever they don't have a solution in place, and they might have liability to grow because
Right.
they're most times not experts as far as how to handle that the best way, and it can be difficult to look at if you're seeing that we have X liability, or we're supposed to be registered in X amount of states and we're not, but we have a great team that can work with them and really guide them to the best way possible as far as how to kind of chip away at that while saving them time and obviously money at the end of it. So I think really our expertise comes into, anytime, right? We'll offer help and assistance, but there's those have been kind of the more challenging times where I've seen customers really lean on us for assistance.
And Jeremy, to maybe pull out the crystal ball here, to maybe kind of play in that gray zone where you're not speaking on behalf of Avalara, but just what you're maybe envisioning from a marketing trend standpoint. Anything B2C side that general individuals, business owners should maybe just be keeping an eye on over the next year or 2 years beyond the election and all political judgment aside.
Right.
Anything that maybe Avalara is also keeping an eye on that may shift things quite drastically, a la Wayfair.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So one thing that we're keeping an eye on, or not even more so than keeping an eye on, is e-invoicing. That's I think mandatory in about 60 countries now. And actually, NetSuite announced at Suite World that Avalara will be their e-invoicing solution that's already integrated into NetSuite. So that's really exciting. Yeah, so that's awesome. So that's definitely something that comes up in a lot of conversation I have if there's an international presence. We have a whole international team that is the experts on that and is definitely helped them. But that's definitely something that has been a big, has a lot of eyeballs on and comes up in a lot of conversations. So that would probably be the biggest change. So I think it's also something that the U.S. might consider down the road as well. So so that's definitely, I think, as far as for market trends. And also, sales tax is always changing. There's always, I want to say last year, and I don't have those. I want to say like 40,000 like tax rule changes. So it's always changing. So it's if you don't have a system in place to monitor that, and you do have you are a growing business, it's definitely something to make sure that you get ahead of sooner than later.
So I guess what you're saying is the alternative to Avalara is uploading those tax tables 40,000 times in your NetSuite environment.
Exactly. That is it.
It's got to be easy, right?
Go for it. And then one other question here in regards to maybe your thoughts on ROI, or return on investment. Can your customers or our customers expect any of that when they incorporate your tax compliance solutions?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I wish I had a number. $1 million is what they.
That's what I hear.
Measurement of increase.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think what Avalara or sales tax compliance solutions help is they allow you to focus on other business activities and maybe like revenue growing activities, because sales tax, it doesn't make you any money, right? But it can definitely cost you if it's not done properly. I'm currently working with the company who's about a $10 million company. Just found out that they have almost $2 million in liability, and you can imagine like how hard that is and damning that is for an owner and someone pretty invested in the company to see. So as far as for the ROI, I think it's one, a peace of mind if you started off sooner than later, but again, just allowing you to really focus on other revenue generating areas.
And you're going to reduce heartburn. That's
yes.
Big time. Reduce the pain. That's a big measurement there.
Absolutely.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time today, Jeremy, sharing valuable insights into the world of tax compliance solutions with Avalara. For our listeners, it's been a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you for tuning in to another insightful episode. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions. Please feel free to reach out to Jeremy and the Avalara team. Can't speak highly enough about just the level of support, very white glove service that I think they're proud of. We really enjoy, and that's why we recommend them. For businesses seeking innovative strategies, Nuage specializes in guiding you through that digital and transformation. Don't feel like you've got to do it by yourselves. Thank you for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue exploring the journeys and insights of exceptional business leaders. Jeremy, we usually like to give our guests the last word. Anything you want to add before we close things out?
Nothing to add, just really appreciative of y'all allowing me to be on here. It was an honor for me to be asked. I've loved working with Nuage and y'all's team. And as Gina mentioned, we worked together closely on a couple other, with a couple other companies that are partnered with y'all, and really are just appreciative of the partnership that we have, and are, looking forward to more. So thank you all for having me on.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.